Alrighty, there we go. Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day out there today. Loki's pushing up on my back because he's too short right now, so before I get started, I'll give Loki a little bit of a treat. His treats are in the car. All I got are treat crumbs, so you wanna get up? You wanna go? You might see him. Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, there you go. So he has a little bit of crumbs. He'll get some more stuff before I leave the house for the night. But happy to see all of you guys over here. Hey, and I'm happy to see my man M Riser. Happy to see my man Mater. What's up? This is formerly known as Kinsey. Oh, dude, happy to see you back here, man. It's definitely been a crazy market cycle, just an absolute crazy market cycle. So today, what I wanted to do is just kind of do a couple of little bit announcements here. I've tried doing the standing thing before, but it always kind of kills me because I'm fat. I've been losing weight pretty consistently, so I'm gonna give it another shot here and see if I can do this for the next few days. I think it'll be pretty good. I think I'm just gonna do this while streaming though, and I'll move the desk back down when I'm doing my day-to-day little work here. So I think that's the compromise I'm gonna make for myself here, because literally after the stream, I get dressed to go back to the gym later on tonight for the second workout of the day. That being said, I'm motivated. Bitcoin's motivating to a little bit of a degree. We've kind of had a small bounce, but the whole tune has really changed throughout all this chaos. All of a sudden, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's time to buy, time to buy, or on the other side, we still have a long way to go. So we're gonna be talking about all that, a little bit of technical analysis to build off of yesterday, and then just looking to see if we have any news, and then finally look to see what's happening on X. I think today was mostly the Epstein file stuff, so that's gonna be very chaotic. I'm happy they voted to release it, but I think there was like one person that decided, hey, I don't want this stuff coming out, which is absolutely wild. And hey, Larry, happy to see my man. I did the J-code thing again today and bought me 382, sold 403, 21K for the day. Nice move right there, Larry. Very, very nice move. Today, I didn't really do much at all. No, I was just moving money around. I'm gonna start making some larger purchases in the stock market here pretty soon. So basically all I did was kind of hop online a little bit. It's kind of boring. Got my oil change, went to the gym, went to Starbucks, got some coffee. It was an okay day. So let's break everything down right now. What I wanted to actually focus on first was just kind of seeing what the influencers are actually doing here. Poke this out very fast. So the influencers say the Bitcoin bear market strategy, the Bitcoin dump isn't the end here. Cruz de la Muerte de Bitcoin death cross. A lot of nothing here. Bitcoin live trading in German. Mexican Bitcoin hits 92,000. This is what Bitcoin bounces. He says we're going to bounce him here and go higher. Jason does. It's over from crypto banter. Very dramatic as always. Admits crypto gets hit. Markets on once again. So, you know, the influencer community has been taking in all of this, as have I. This has just been a very intense session. But if you look at all, there's not really much traffic here, right? Not really much traffic going on right now. There's a few people like these guys. This is a very liberal podcast right here from Scott Calloway. They're going after Bitcoin a little bit right now. That's not really their topic, but you're seeing everybody's trying to dive in and get some views. And that's what normally happens during this time. I will remind you, when Bitcoin gets kind of bearish and people get a little bit more skeptical, you are going to see a lot more scams coming out. So please be careful about the types of scams you guys are seeing. I think this video right here is a scam, so I'm not even, yeah, that one's a scam. So I'm not even gonna scroll down there, because last time I did that, my channel with AI got demonetized. No, not demonetized, it got taken down completely. And that was a hard process to get it back up and running here. So let's not even go down that far. This is dangerous enough for me to show you what's actually going on YouTube. And that is crazy, isn't it? Now, hey Mo, happy to see my man, hope you're doing well. The same play happens every week. Buy 380, sell 400s. There you go. Bitcoin right now up a little bit. You see altcoins up a little bit more. You know, Ethereum up 3%, XRP 2%, Solana 7% today. That's a really strong move. I think I'll probably take this little bit of a bounce to sell off some of my higher market cap tokens, to be honest, because, oh man, I'm still kind of skeptical about all this stuff and the bouncing and all that good stuff here. As far as the stock market's concerned, a little bit of an interesting thing. Technology down, technology services down. Finance was okay, health was okay, producer manufacturing was okay, consumer non-durable, excuse me, consumer services, not bad. Tesla, bad, but not terrible. And then retail trade, not particularly good. Home Depot is down 6% today, Amazon is down 4%. Interesting overall, right? And Meta down by only about 0.72%. So it's not terrible. Even the cryptocurrency market today, not terrible. What do we see Bitcoin do? Try to find a little bit of support at that first level here. We're going to see if we can bounce off of that. Oh, God. You know, it was a support all the way back over here in December of 2024. It was the resistance over here in March of 2025. And now is it going to be the support level we need all the way in November of 2025? That is going to be a massive thing here. But we'll have to see. One of the things that always usually happens here is if we do manage to break down below this 50, a lot of times we do try to bounce back up. I'm a little bit more skeptical, like I said before, that I'm just going to assume that it's going to come back up. But the fact that we are looking for a little bit of a bounce, everybody's like, oh yeah, now Bitcoin's more affordable just a tad. Maybe you could see a little bit more of a bullish return here. What I'm really looking for, as always, is what is the momentum saying? Right now, the momentum is still down, down, down. But if you guys want to take an opportunity to buy here for your entry position before you double down later on, not a terrible idea here. I'm not even going to try to do that. I'm just going to wait for a swing trade later on. Right now, you guys are looking at the stochastic trying to have a little bit more of a bullish momentum. You can see right here, the RSI is also getting ready to flip here over the next few days if we can just hold. And can we hold? Oh boy, guys, I'm not entirely sure. And hey, Lisa, happy to see you. You know, this is something I don't know about. This is something that I'm not happy with it right now. Prevailing theory, if you go through all the influencers and stuff like that, they all have the same idea. And I respect the pattern. I respect the pattern. So far during this cycle, when we've had the death cross, you've usually seen the Bitcoin price action bottom out over the next few days. So you can see right now, we just had the death cross between the 50-day moving average and the 200 daily moving average right there. Go back in time a little bit here, and you're seeing that we had the death cross right here, and within a few days, Bitcoin bottomed out and we started to ricochet back up. That's the hope right now. So if you guys are trying to play that off of the support, you guys can start to buy right now and then do a doubling down basically once we start to see Bitcoin look a little bit more bullish. There's a way to play that. If you guys want to do that, awesome. I think for me, I'd probably just wait a little bit longer to at least try to see if the momentum will completely shift over, because by then maybe I'm not getting this low point right here. But if I buy over here with the crossover right there between the RSI and the stochastic, I'm okay with what the move that would happen after that. Go back a little bit further in time. Can here, death cross right here. It took a couple weeks to kind of hit that low here, so interesting in that regard. But eventually, if you guys bought these moves down here with the crossovers and such, you were pretty happy with the returns. Right now, as I look at what happened back in September and how it kind of went parabolic back over here, that was only because Trump won the election, and Trump is going to be a very different type of president than Kamala Harris and or Joe Biden when it comes to the term, like when it came to Bitcoin, basically, because Kamala don't like Bitcoin, Joe Biden didn't like Bitcoin. They had to change their policies ahead of the election because they saw a lot of people liked Bitcoin, right? A lot of people like cryptocurrency. Unfortunately for them, Donald Trump changed his position on Bitcoin well before they did. So it's a little bit of a difference, right? But normally when we have those death crosses, you know, it's not bad. What I might say, if I'm looking to trade, the death cross has already happened. Maybe wait for a bullish crossover right here and right here. You can see how the momentum kind of swings. There's an opportunity there. If Bitcoin does have that type of move and you guys are looking for that type of strategy, I would say maybe you guys could try to have a price target up here of around $98,000 for target price 1, all the way back up here towards $104,000 for target price 2. For me, I don't really want to trade right now. I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to wait for the momentum. I'm not going to buy. I'm just going to wait for the momentum and see what happens. I don't want to buy too early. I tried to buy this momentum shift over here and it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, so I'm just going to hold off. And on top of all that, now you guys already can see that the weekly momentum is still bearish, bearish, bearish. Any move that we have is still going to be short term for a minute. And the monthly charts for the first time are also bearish. This is where I hope that because we have 12 days left, we can actually manage to get back up a little bit. Bulls can help us there. And then maybe we can survive a little bit longer. Because what may happen here is we may actually go into some type of short-term bear market where you see Bitcoin kind of going choppy and down for like 5-6 months. And really, that's until we have a new Fed chair that actually knows how to cut rates responsibly and to kind of be more not as data dependent as the Fed. If the Fed looks at the data, that's fine, but you kind of have to understand what's happening in the now with AI and all that type of stuff and what's going to be happening in the future, and you have to be able to articulate that and adjust for it. And when you have a person that only looks at the data of the past, like a Jerome Powell, you get transitory inflation. Or this summer, oh, you know, we don't need to cut rates, and all of a sudden, boom, we got to speed it up again. Or even last year, oh, we don't need to cut rates. Oh, now we got to do a 50 basis point cut all of a sudden. Pure chaos. Hopefully by next year it's going to be fine. Right now though, last time I think we had this was way back over here where things got choppy. And this is back over in 2019 before COVID. You can see if we kind of just zoom in here, we had the bearishness that started off a nasty movement, but we also had a few times where we just went from bearish to bearish, right? Then back to bullish pretty darn fast here. So I'm not, and I wonder if we didn't have the COVID drop, was this been a little bit of a one bearish candle, then we continue on? I can kind of imagine it, but it's hard to say because it didn't really happen. So if you guys are looking for those longer term gains, that could be something. Hopefully this kind of reminds me of what we saw before. You kind of see that green line on the screen right there, that 20-month moving average. We did hover above this before COVID. Maybe we can hover on top of it and see a big level of support. I'm watching it closely. You know, this is one of the things where I'm just like, okay, there are opportunities right now. We'll have to see. We're not there just yet, but if we start creeping along a little bit more and we do break down below it, maybe I'll look to buy some longer term things. But for me, it's really going back to that 150 weekly moving average. All right, let's go back over here very fast and just seeing if we can actually hold on here. The choppiness is going to be your friend if you're day trading, but on top of that, it's just going to be a rough few days. That's basically it. All right, so as far as the rest of the market today, a little bit of pomp and circumstance, a little bit of happiness. AB's up, SPX is up, Aster's up, MYX Finance is up, Artificial Superintelligence is up. We've talked about a little bit of this stuff in the past because of what's actually been moving up, so you guys have opportunities to short some of this stuff. Once we start to have more confirmations that a bear market is occurring, you guys are probably going to want to short some of this stuff like AB or Zcash or why is that doing that? Maybe MYX Finance as well. That's the one I was thinking of, excuse me. So yeah, there's some opportunities there, there sure is, but ooh, I'm still kind of bummed out about the last few days we've had. And you can see right here, we're still in extreme fear, still in altcoin season, Bitcoin season. We're still way over here in the Bitcoin season. And the average crypto RSI is actually neutral and not overbought or oversold. You may see a teeny bit in the oversold territory, but it's more neutral than oversold at this point here. And good old stock market news, Trump is mad. Trump had the Saudi crown guy over there. The Senate agrees to pass Epstein bills, clearing path to Trump. So the next few days are just going to be chaotic in Washington, D.C., which is going to be very interesting because there's going to be a lot of people in trouble when it comes to the Einstein. I want to say Einstein, but it's not. Epstein. Jesus, it's been a long day. And something interesting about all this is so far, I feel like this has been more damaging for Democrats than Republicans. And only because of the political intrigue that's been happening here. I didn't know so many Democrats knew Epstein on a personal level. I'm waiting to see if there's some conservatives that also like knew Epstein behind the scenes. Right now, the only real prominent one is going to be Trump, but it seems like Epstein hated him. But Trump standing against this release, ooh, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. So we'll see what happens there. But a lot of craziness going to happen over here. I think as far as X is concerned, yeah, Clay Higgins. Basically, everybody in the House voted to release the files except for this one guy. I really want to know what was going on in his mind when he voted no, because it's literally everybody but this guy voted to release it, which is crazy. Yeah, this is some bullshit. Yeah, so he doesn't have a really good answer. Scary, 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 scary stuff. All right, so long story short, the market's bouncing back a little bit today after the last few weeks of just being absolutely horrible. There isn't really great news here besides a couple opportunities to do some trading if you want to buy at a level of support. But if you're looking to buy at this level of support, you have to understand it's still just a high risk type of trade, but it's a high risk trade with a little bit of a high reward opportunity, basically. Am I taking this trade? No, not really. If you want to go along with like circumstances and stuff like this, it's not a terrible idea. Especially right now, what you've been hearing is like 80% of influencers really talking about how the death cross strategy works. You buy when the death cross happens. Over the next few days, we might go down a little bit lower, but if you hold through that, you're usually in a very good mood. The only thing that's stopping me right now is the fact that we're seeing the longer term technicals turn very bearish. Like the weekly chart's still bearish, and now the monthly charts are bearish as well. I'd give it a 60 to 65% chance of being a good opportunity to buy now. That's not enough for me to make a trade. But for some people that like to gamble, you like slots, here's your opportunity. Just be careful with the leverage, right? Now, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and SPY are all losing ground, all breaking down out of last week's support levels. And now we're heading to the support levels from all the way back over here in mid-October. This could be interesting to see if we are going to see the market roll over. That would overall not be great for Bitcoin as well. So just understand the market as a whole is starting to come down here, which is not as great. And you might even see some death crosses between the 20-day moving averages and the 50-day moving averages. Last few times it's happened, it hasn't been like terrible, right? But, you know, there's always been some volatility around that time. And if you believe that we're still in a bull market, anytime we have a significant pullback like this, or even like this, or like this, or like this, or even like that back in April, you know, you buy those little dips, you're usually pretty happy. If you wait like a month and a half to 2 months, you're usually good. And by that, I mean, let's see if I can pull this back up. There's a big dip right here, as you guys can see. Let's say you bought at the halfway point, not the bottom, just halfway down. You waited like a month afterwards and you were still up 6%, all right? Over here, big dip, a smaller dip, but you brought halfway, rode it up to the next little peak, which is this resistance over here. You're up 3% in about 14 days. You waited a little bit longer, like, you know, for a month, basically. Like I said, a month and a half is usually where the sweet spot is, month and a half to 2 months. You're up 6%. So there are plenty of opportunities here. If we decide to dip down and it looks pretty nasty, I will buy into the stock market. My concern is just that, you know, these things typically take a few weeks, and typically you want to buy below the 20-week moving average. If you can buy down here, wait like a month, you're usually happy with the results, right? Buy down here, breaking down here, right? You held a little bit of time, it still made you money. Same thing over here, made you money. Now, we're not in 2022 territory at all, right? But again, there's some spooky times. All right, let's go back over here to the 15. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. This has been a pretty boring day overall. I know when you go online and you're looking at all this stuff right now, there's only one person on the planet who can save Bitcoin. I think that's Sydney Sweeney, but I'm not entirely sure. Bitcoiners, normies, Bitcoin tourists. Yeah, and we've been on this road many a time. Me with 177 worth of Bitcoin worrying about a crash. My AI stocks, I think, went sideways today. I think this is Big Bear. Oh, there you go, yeah. I filled it up, my account, so I have another $100 in a couple weeks to go, toss back in here. But my account was up 21 cents today, so that was very, very boring, I would say. Everything on this list right here, I mean, there was some mixed results, but nothing was too nothing was too big or too small. Big Bear AI went up 6% today. This thing has been extremely volatile. Like, if you just look at the last 5 years, extremely volatile. You can see almost like a upward trend here. I would, with AI getting a lot more heat right now, you can see there's a triangle forming, right? I would almost prefer that we break down from here so I can buy a little bit cheaper. I don't think this is really the environment that all of a sudden things like Big Bear AI go crazy and just much higher. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens over the next few weeks here. But the volatility has been absolutely insane for this particular stock here. And again, it is a low market cap stock. I believe it's like less than $10 billion market cap or less than $20 billion market cap. QBTS, all this stuff went up slowly over the day. Not great. Okay, I'm just gonna take it on the chin basically here. But you can see nothing too much was happening out there in the marketplace. Bitcoin climbs back to 93,500. Me who bought it at $126,000. See, everybody's getting excited. You know, it is. Why would Bitcoin post this? Yeah, I was very concerned about that. I didn't know if it was hacked or not today. 46,047. I have no idea why they said that. Buying Bitcoin 106K is the buying opportunity of a lifetime. Oh god, yeah, it feels rough. Bitcoin and Main Street. Oh, Benjamin just posted a new video here as well. No, there's not even really many people posting about Bitcoin. I don't post that much about Bitcoin anymore on my X account, nor do I actually post much on my X account, because it really does not, you have to pay to play when it comes to Twitter. And I don't really feel like Twitter's a high value place to find like followers that I necessarily care about outside the people that follow me on here, right? I'd rather you guys see me on here first, then follow me on there. I don't really want to pay for this. It's been the biggest waste of money. I remember they had a bunch of different like perks and stuff. I did not see any of the perks. So much to the point where if I was tweeting myself, I got no views. But if I spit out AI garbage, I got tons of views and impressions on my pages and stuff like that, which made no sense. So I don't like X right now as far as like a platform I spend a lot of time on. Only reason I go there is for the this right here. The trending tab, because every now and then you get to have breaking news and just kind of see what's happening. That's basically it right now. That's basically it. But if none of you guys have any more questions, I guess I'll see you guys a little bit later. I'm gonna try to do this the right way, where I stay on live until people stop talking, and then eventually I'll kind of get back on. I think it'll allow me to do 2 to 3 streams per day. So thanks everybody for joining me, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow morning when I wake up before I head up to the gym. And then from there we'll kind of bounce around a little bit, and I'll be streaming a few times a day. Thanks.